Hello everyone. Today in commerce classes we will be studying calculation of liquidator's remuneration. Now many a times we find that liquidator's remuneration is based on certain percentage of the amount collected or some payments. So the calculation part of this shall be studied in today's video. Now his remuneration can be number one, fixed. Now if the remuneration is fixed, there is no problem in that because the amount is given and we are directly taking that amount in the payment order. So it won't pose any problem to us. Second is when the remuneration is fixed as a percentage of amounts realized from assets. Like we might be given that liquidator is allowed say 2% of the amount realized from the sale of the assets. Now the only issue that we have to settle here is that the assets of the company are in two categories. Number one are the free assets. That means the assets which are not given as a security. So these are free, these are with the company. Second is the assets given as security. Now when the assets are given as security to the creditors, then there can be two possibilities. One is that the creditors take charge of the assets and they dispose of these assets, realize the amount and then pay the balance or surplus to the company. So here in this case, the creditors themselves are realizing the assets. So when they are realizing the assets, liquidator doesn't have a right to get remuneration on their realization. Second case can be when the assets are realized by the liquidator and he pays the amount to the secured liabilities and balance surplus is left with the company. So when liquidator is realizing the assets, then he has got all the right to get remuneration on this realization as well. So herein we will be having two cases. Case 1 is when the liquidator realizes these assets. So in this case, these will be included for calculation of liquidator's remuneration, right? Because he is taking steps to realize these assets. Second case is when the secured creditors realize these assets, they take up their amount, their liabilities and pay the balance to the company. So here in this case, these will not be included for calculation purposes, right? So what we are supposed to do here is that we are to calculate amount realized from the assets. It will either be 1 only or 1 plus 2. And then the liquidator's remuneration will be given percentage. Suppose it is R percent. So R upon 100 into total amount realized. And what this amount is, it can either be 1 plus 2 in case 1 and only 1 in case of case 2. So this can easily be calculated. Third is when the liquidator's remuneration is fixed as a percentage of amount paid to unsecured creditors. So sometimes we are given that liquidator is to get say remuneration of 2% or 3% of the amount payable to unsecured creditors. Now first of all we need to know what this unsecured creditors imply. Now any creditors which are not secured, which are not covered by the security, they are called unsecured creditors. So for that matter, even your preferential creditors will also be a part of unsecured creditors, and workmen's due, this will also be included, and any other unsecured creditors. Now one may wonder that we make payment to preferential creditors before we pay to the unsecured creditors, right? But it is just the order of payment. it doesn't affect the category of the creditors. Creditors are still unsecured because they do not have any security with them. So they are just paid in a preference order, but they do not have any security. Hence, unsecured creditors will include these three components. Then sometimes our secured liabilities are not fully covered by the assets given as a security, so their unsecured portion can also be included herein if our question requires us. Now, whatever payment is to be made to this total, that is to be taken as the remuneration of the liquidator. Now, herein we may come across two cases. Case 1 is when company is having sufficient amount to pay to the creditors. So if company is having enough amount to pay to the creditors, then of course the remuneration, liquidator's remuneration, can be calculated as given R%, maybe 2%, 3%, 1%, 1.5. So whatever percentage is given into amount paid to the total of unsecured creditors, right? So by definition, these do not include secured creditors and creditors having security with the floating charge. Rest all are unsecured creditors. So a direct percentage can be applied. However, when the company is not having sufficient amount to pay to these creditors, then how will we calculate the amount? Say our total unsecured creditors are of say 1 lakh rupees and company is having only 70,000. Now out of that 70,000, some part shall have to go to liquidator as his remuneration and the balance shall be paid to the creditor in such a manner that his commission is a fixed percentage of the amount paid to the creditor. So in a way, in this case, when you do not have full amount to pay to the creditors, it implies that the amount that you are having, it is to be utilized for two purposes. Number one, to pay the commission to the liquidator because it is based on the payment, and number two is the payment to the creditor, right? So the availability or the available amount has two components. One, payment to the creditor. Two, the amount of liquidator's remuneration. So here in this case, if we are to calculate liquidator's remuneration, then we cannot have directly R upon 100, R percentage of amount available, because now we do not have the payment for the creditors. What we have is amount available to pay, and this amount includes payment to the creditor plus some component of commission, because we have just this amount. Say you have 70,000 and out of that 70,000 you are to pay remuneration to the liquidator as well as you are to pay to the creditors. So liquidator's remuneration will then be R upon 100 plus R. We will have to change the base because it is R percentage of payment for creditors. But when we have the total, this is payment for creditor as well as for the remuneration, so the base should also be total. So we change the base as per the availability of the amount. So whenever we calculate the rate, it can directly be applied if we know the amount. But we will have to change the base if we know the composite amount. So here in this case, we will be changing the base. I hope this is clear to you. Then the fourth type of liquidator's remuneration is a percentage based on the amount payable to contributories, that is shareholders. Now shareholders can be of two types, equity and preference shareholders. So for preference shareholders, again remember, they are to be paid out of the amount available after paying unsecured creditors, right? So preference shareholders can be paid only once we have paid all the unsecured creditors. Now we will see what is the amount available. Can we pay to them in full or not? So again that question is still here. That is whether the company has sufficient funds to pay to them or the company is not having sufficient funds to pay to them. So case 1, same case here, when company has sufficient funds. If the company has sufficient funds to pay to this liability, that is preference shareholders capital. In that case, the liquidator's remuneration can directly be taken as the given percentage of preference share capital. Okay. Second case is when the company doesn't have sufficient funds. So when the company doesn't have sufficient funds, it means that out of the available funds, it will have to pay remuneration as well as the balance being paid to the preference shareholders. So the funds that you have, the cash that you have at this point includes two components. So when you apply that ratio for remuneration, you will have to change the base 100 plus R into available amount for payment, right? So whenever a percentage is based on the payment, if we can pay the amount in full, direct ratio can be applied. But if we cannot pay them in full, it means the amount available has two uses. So accordingly, we will have to change the base in the ratio. Now coming to equity shareholders. Now as such, equity shareholders are paid the remaining surplus. Okay, so once you pay to the preference shareholders, you are to pay the remaining amount to equity shareholders. So for equity shareholders, we are not bothered whether they are paid capital or not. Whatever is available, the whole is to be paid to them. And if on that payment some commission or remuneration to the liquidator is to be given, so this case doesn't arise here. So here in this case, the liquidator's remuneration will always be equal to R upon 100 plus R into available amount for payment. And since this amount is available for paying to equity shareholders and the liquidator's remuneration, it is a sum of two things. Okay, so here also we change the base, we take up 100 plus R, because R percentage implies that if you pay 100 rupees, then you give R as the remuneration to the liquidator. That is, in order to pay 100 rupees of liability, you pay R to the liquidator, which implies if you want to pay 100, you need to have a total of 100 plus R, right? This is the composite amount. If you are to pay 100 to the liability or to the shareholders, you need to have R rupees also, so that out of 100 plus R, you will pay R to the liquidator and you will pay 100 to the liability. So the proportion of liquidator's remuneration on the liability is certainly R upon 100, but the proportion of liquidator's remuneration for available amount is R upon 100 plus R, because in order to give 100 rupees, we need to have 100 plus R with us. Then only this R remuneration can be given. So R percentage is for payment to the liability, but R upon 100 plus R is for the total amount available. That is why wherever total amount is taken, we change the base. So this is how liquidator's remuneration can be calculated. So it can be a fixed amount, it can be amount realized from assets or a percentage of payment, or it can be a composition of these. So you can have first and second component, first, second, third component, second and third. So it is up to the question. Now let us practice some questions to understand the calculation part. Let us take up a direct question first of all. Now, liquidator of a company is entitled to a remuneration of 2% on assets realized and 3% of the amount distributed to unsecured creditors, right? So you are to take up 2% of assets realized and 3% of unsecured creditors payments. That means liquidator's remuneration has two components. First component is 2% of assets realized. Okay, and second component is 3% of the amount given to unsecured creditors, right? Okay, so let us see the details. The assets realized 10 lakh rupees. Out of that amount available for unsecured creditors before paying his remuneration, of course we have to calculate the remuneration. So amount available before his remuneration is 4,12,000. Now calculate his remuneration if number 1, case A is unsecured creditors are 3 lakh. Now we know that we have 4,12,000 available with us, and if we have creditors of 3 lakh, it means we can pay them in full, and out of the balance we can pay the commission also, the remuneration part. So 2% of the assets realized will imply 2% of 10 lakh, that is 20,000, and 3% of the amount payable to the creditors, you can pay them in full, so it is 9,000. So liquidators remuneration in this case will be 29,000. This is case A. Now case B is unsecured creditors are 4,50,000, which includes these two components. Now if you are to pay to the unsecured creditors, you do not have sufficient amount here, because you are to pay them 4,50,000, but you have 4,12,000, and that too when you are to give the first part of remuneration also. So case B will be that number 1, 2% of assets realized component, it is still there, 2% of 10 lakh, that is 20,000. Now second component is 3% of the amount given to unsecured creditors. Now what is the amount to be paid to them? Since you had 4,12,000, out of 4,12,000 you are to pay this 20,000, right? So 4,12,000 minus 20,000, you will give the first component, right? Now the balance is 3,92,000. Now that 3,92,000 is available, but out of that you are to pay to the creditors as well as you are to give this amount of remuneration. So this is the composite amount. So our base will now be 3 upon 103. So this gives us 11,417. So total remuneration is 31,417. Now this you can verify also, like if we make the payment order. In the payment order, number 1 is always secured liabilities. We don't have that. Number 2 is the liquidators remuneration plus expenses, which we have counted 31,417. Number 3 is preferential creditors. Number 4 is liabilities with floating charge. Okay, and number 5 is the unsecured liabilities. This is the payment order. So you had 4,20,000 with you. Now if you pay 31,417, you are left with 3,80,583. You don't have this, you don't have this liability, so your unsecured liabilities will be paid this much sum. So we will write paid 3,80,583 in full settlement. So this will be paid to them. Now you have creditors, then you have bills payable, that is 3 lakh and 1,50,000. Okay, so this amount will be paid in this ratio 2:1. So 1/3 of this availability will be given to bills payable and 2/3 of this will be given to creditors. Their ratio is 2:1. So it is distributed like this. So this is how we calculate the commission or the remuneration of liquidator. Now the same thing that we have done here, that we can do through this statement also, that we know that we are to prepare if we are making the final statement of accounts. So for liquidators final statement, this is the preliminary work that we do. So within this statement also we can make calculations for this amount of remuneration. Like let us take up the third case. Unsecured creditors are 5 lakh, including trade creditors 2,50,000, bills payable and preferential creditors of 50,000. So you have 3 liabilities with you. 1 is preferential and 2 are the trade creditors and bills payable. So these are unsecured. This is also unsecured, but this is preferential. This will be paid in the preference order. Okay, so we can make the calculations in both the ways, like we calculated the commission or remuneration here directly. So in case C, it is 2% of assets realized. So 2% of 10 lakh, that is 20,000 directly. Number 2, 3% of the balance available for or balance paid to unsecured creditors. Now out of 4,12,000, you are to pay this 20,000 first, and then you will charge 3% because you are not having sufficient amount to pay this liability. So this is 11,417, 31,417, and you can verify the amount as we have calculated here. Now let us solve it within the statement. Like we make a working note when we prepare a proper statement. So in that statement we have the liabilities in this order: secured liabilities, then you have liquidation expenses and liquidators remuneration, right? Then third component is preferential creditors, fourth component is liabilities with floating charge, and fifth component is unsecured creditors. So let us put the things here. Expenses are not there. Remuneration has two components: 2% of the assets realized and 3% of the payment. Now let us see. Preferential creditors are 50,000. There is no such liability. Unsecured creditors are our creditors 2,50,000, bills payable 1,50,000. These are on the same place. Okay, so 4 lakh. Now let us see the order of the payment, because now we are to calculate the commission within the working note. We don't want to solve it as a separate, because if we are to prepare liquidator's final statement, then we are preparing this. So we don't need to have a separate statement like this. So let us see, can we do it within this? This is amount due, and now we will be writing amount available. So we had 4,12,000 available, no expenses, 3,92,000 available. Now out of 3,92,000, on these two payments we are to give 3% commission, right? Remuneration. Now this liability is not there. Suppose it was 1 lakh, then we can say that out of 3,92,000 this will be paid, and for these unsecured creditors falling in these two categories, we are having 2,92,000 with us. So on that amount this remuneration can be calculated. But now this amount is available for overall unsecured creditors. So again 3 upon 103 of 3,92,000, because this is the amount available with us. So this is what we have. Now if we deduct these two, we are left with, we have already deducted with 3,80,583, right? Now we are to pay preferential creditors in full, so 3,30,583, because they will be paid in full. Preferential creditors have preference over the other liabilities, so they will be paid in full. Now we are to see the payment for these. So this will be paid in full settlement. Okay. Now their ratio is 3:5. 5/8 and 3/8. So this amount will be distributed in 5/8 and 3/8 ratio to these two parties. Now see, you paid this much in full settlement, so 3% of this will be coming out to be this. This is the verification. Now sometimes we are asked that who is bearing the burden of the liquidator's remuneration. Like you paid this on the available balance. This was the balance available. On this you paid 3%, okay, by changing the base. So who got the burden? You had these liabilities here. When we look at the liabilities, we have 3 liabilities at this point when we calculated the commission or the remuneration. These 3 are there. But who is bearing the burden? This amount is deducted, of course, from the total, but in reality the burden goes with the unsecured creditors and not with the preferential creditors, because they will be paid in full as per preference order. They are to be paid first, and we have sufficient amount, they will be paid. So the whole burden of the liquidator's remuneration falls on the the fifth category of the liabilities, and they bear the burden in the ratio in which they are getting the cash. So if this commission was not paid, you were having 3,92,000, which would have been distributed in their ratio, and now because of this commission or remuneration you are left with a lesser balance, and since you have lesser balance which is distributed, it implies that the loss arising because of his remuneration, loss of cash arising because of this, is also split by the company in these two participants. So in reality, the burden of liquidator's remuneration in this case falls not on the preferential creditors, not on the liability with the floating charge, not on the liabilities having pari passu coverage, but the whole burden of liquidator's remuneration falls on the liabilities payable under fifth category. And if we are asked that who is bearing the burden of his remuneration, then these two persons are bearing the burden, and the ratio in which this burden is being borne is 5:3, because this reduction in cash leads to reduced payment to these persons. Since what you are paying is in 5:3 ratio, it also implies what you are not paying is also in 5:3 ratio, because any additional sum here would have been distributed in 5:3. So sometimes we are asked who is bearing the burden, so we can say that the parties under fifth category, they are bearing the burden of liquidators remuneration, right? So I hope these cases are clear to you. So next time we will be taking up a problem wherein we will be calculating the remuneration along with a complete liquidator's statement of final accounts. Thank you.